Motivation is temporary. Consistency is permanent. Think about the last time you felt truly motivated. Maybe it was a New Year's resolution. You told yourself, this year I will get fit. I will read more. I will wake up early. And for the first few days, you were full of energy. You went to the gym. You picked up books. You woke up before sunrise. You felt powerful. But then something happened. One morning, you felt tired and you hit the snooze button. One day, you didn't feel like exercising. So you told yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow became next week. And before you knew it, you were back to where you started. Why? Because motivation is like a spark. It lights up quickly, but if you do not fuel it, it dies just as fast. It is exciting in the beginning, but it does not last. It is like that one friend who always shows up when things are fun, but disappears when things get tough. Now look at the people who actually succeed in life. Do you think they are motivated every day? Do you think an athlete wakes up at 5 a.m., runs for hours, lifts weights, and eats a strict diet just because they feel motivated? No. They do it because they have built discipline. They do it because they have trained themselves to show up whether they feel like it or not. Let me give you an example. Imagine you have a pet dog. Every day you feed it at the same time. You take it for a walk, even if it is raining, even if you are tired, even if you do not feel like it, you do it because you know the dog depends on you. Now imagine if you only fed the dog when you felt motivated. Some days it would eat and some days it would starve. Would that be okay? No. But this is exactly how we treat our dreams. We work on them only when we feel motivated. And just like that starving dog, our dreams remain weak, unhealthy, and unable to grow. Now look at nature. The sun does not rise late just because it is feeling lazy. The earth does not stop rotating because it is not in the mood. The rivers do not stop flowing just because they are tired. Everything in existence is consistent, and that is why it thrives. Let's take a very simple example, brushing your teeth. You do not wake up every morning and say, I am so motivated to brush my teeth today. No. You just do it because it has become a habit, because you know if you stop, there will be consequences. Your breath will smell, your teeth will decay, and people will run away from you. Now imagine if you applied the same consistency to your goals. What if you treated your workouts, your studies, your self-improvement like brushing your teeth? What if you just did it every day without waiting to feel motivated? You see, success is not about taking big dramatic actions once in a while. It is about taking small, consistent steps every single day. If you want to be fit, one intense workout will not change your body, but exercising consistently over months and years will transform you. If you want to be successful, one day of hard work will not change your life, but showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, will make all the difference. Think of a farmer. When he plants seeds, he does not see results immediately. He waters the soil every day, even when there is no visible growth. He removes the weeds, he nurtures the plants, and after months of effort, the crops grow. Now imagine if the farmer only worked on his field when he felt motivated. Some days he would water it, some days he would ignore it. What would happen? The crops would die. This is what happens to most people's dreams. They plant a seed, but they do not take care of it every day. They wait for motivation. When it does not come, they give up. But the truth is, if you want something badly enough, you cannot rely on motivation. You must rely on consistency. You must force yourself to wake up early, even when your bed is warm and comfortable. You must force yourself to exercise, even when your body is tired. You must force yourself to study, to work, to improve, even when you do not feel like it. Because the rewards do not come from what you do occasionally. They come from what you do every single day. Think about an artist. A great musician does not become great because they practice only when they are inspired. They become great because they practice every day, even when they do not feel like it. A writer does not finish a book just by writing when inspiration strikes. They write daily, even on days when the words do not flow easily. A businessman does not build a successful company by working only when it is exciting. They work every day through failures, through difficulties, through boredom. This is why motivation is not the answer. Discipline is. Motivation is about feelings. Discipline is about commitment. Motivation is about excitement. Discipline is about results. So the next time you feel like skipping something important, the next time you tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, remember this: motivation is temporary, but consistency is permanent. If you do what is necessary every day, whether you feel like it or not, you will not need motivation. You will have something far more powerful: success. If you are not consistent, you are forcing yourself to be average. Think about the people you admire, the ones who have achieved greatness in any field, whether it is a legendary athlete, a world-class musician, or a successful entrepreneur. What is the one thing they all have in common? They are consistent. They show up every day. They do the work no matter what. Now look at most people. They start something with enthusiasm, but when the excitement fades, they stop. They go to the gym for a week, then take a month off. They start a business, but when things get difficult, they quit. They pick up a book, but never finish it, and then they wonder why they are not successful. The truth is simple. If you do not force yourself to be consistent, you are forcing yourself to be average. Let's take an example from nature. Imagine a river flowing towards the ocean. No, it will lose its strength, scatter into small streams, and eventually dry up. But if it keeps flowing in one direction with consistency, nothing can stop it from reaching its destination. This is exactly what happens in life. If you keep jumping from one goal to another, if you only work when you feel like it, you will never build momentum. You will never reach your full potential. You will remain stuck in the cycle of mediocrity. Now, let's take a real-life example. Think of a student preparing for exams. Two students start studying at the same time. The first student studies for 10 hours one day, then takes a break for the next 3 days, and then studies another 10 hours. The second student, however, studies for just 2 hours every single day without fail. Who do you think will perform better in the exam? The second student, of course, because consistency beats intensity. The problem is most people want results without effort. They want success, but they do not want to put in the work every day. They want to be fit, but they do not want to exercise consistently. They want to be wealthy, but they do not want to work hard every day. They want to be skilled, but they do not want to practice daily. And so they remain where they are, average, stuck, unfulfilled. Let's take another example: muscle building. If you lift heavy weights for 1 week and then stop for a month, will you build muscle? No. But if you lift a little every day, even with moderate weight, your muscles will grow over time. The body rewards consistency, not random bursts of effort. Look at the people who are the best at what they do. A cricketer like Virat Kohli does not just train when he feels like it. He practices every single day, perfecting his shots, working on his fitness, and improving his game. A singer like Ajit Singh does not just sing when inspiration strikes. He trains his voice daily, again and again, until perfection becomes effortless. The biggest difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is not talent. It is not intelligence. It is consistency. Most people do not lack talent. They lack discipline. They do not lack ability. They lack consistency. And because they refuse to be consistent, they unknowingly choose to be average. Imagine two people running a race. One runs with full speed for 10 minutes, then stops to take a break, then runs again, then stops again. The other person keeps running at a steady pace without stopping. Who will win? The one who never stops. Success is the same. It does not come to those who run fast in the beginning and then stop. It comes to those who keep going no matter how slow, no matter how difficult. A famous example is the story of Thomas Edison. He did not invent the light bulb in one brilliant moment of inspiration. He failed thousands of times, but he kept experimenting every single day until he succeeded. If he had worked only when he felt motivated, we might still be living in darkness. Another example is the story of Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world. His wealth did not come from one big investment. It came from years of consistently making smart financial decisions, no matter what the market conditions were. If you look around, life is full of examples proving that consistency is the key to excellence. But still, people want shortcuts. They want quick success, instant results, and overnight transformation. And when that does not happen, they give up. They stop trying. They tell themselves, maybe I am not meant for this. But the truth is, they were never consistent enough to see results. Success is not luck. It is not magic. It is not something that happens to a chosen few. It is simply the reward of those who refuse to quit, those who refuse to settle for average, those who show up every day and do what needs to be done. So the choice is yours. Do you want to be great or do you want to be average? Because if you do not force yourself to be consistent, you are choosing mediocrity, and nothing in life will change until you change this habit. Whatever your goal is, fitness, career, relationships, learning a skill, ask yourself one simple question. Am I doing this every single day? If the answer is no, then you already know why you are not getting the results you want. So from today, make a decision. No matter what happens, no matter how you feel, no matter how difficult it is, be consistent. Because if you do, success is inevitable. The greatest achievements come from small, repeated actions over time. Most people dream of success, but they think it happens in one grand moment, one big breakthrough, one lucky chance, one overnight transformation. They believe that great musicians were born with talent, that great athletes were always strong, that great entrepreneurs had some secret formula for success. But the truth is far from this illusion. Greatness is not built in a single moment. It is built in the tiny, unseen efforts that are repeated every single day, the small habits, the daily discipline, the little choices. These are what create extraordinary results. Imagine a sculptor chiseling away at a rock. The first few hits may seem to do nothing. The rock remains the same, but the sculptor keeps going, one strike after another, again and again. And then, after hundreds of strikes, suddenly the rock breaks into a beautiful shape. Was it the last strike that made the difference? No, it was the result of all the small, repeated strikes before it. Every hit mattered. Every effort counted. And this is exactly how success works in life. Let's take a simple example from our daily lives. Brushing your teeth. If you brush your teeth once in a while, will it make any difference? No. But if you do it every day, without fail, your teeth remain healthy. If you skip brushing for weeks, your teeth begin to decay. Now imagine if you applied this same principle to your fitness, your learning, your work, your relationships. What would happen? This is why small, repeated actions matter more than one-time efforts. Let's look at a fitness example. Imagine two people. One person does an intense workout for 5 hours once a month. The other person exercises for just 30 minutes every single day. Who will be healthier? The one who exercises daily. Why? Because the body does not respond to occasional bursts of effort. It responds to consistent small efforts over time. Think about water dripping onto a rock. One drop of water does nothing. But if water keeps dripping onto the same spot for years, it can carve through even the hardest stone. This is the power of repetition. The biggest mistake people make is expecting immediate results. They go to the gym for a week and see no change, so they quit. They start a business, face a few failures, and give up. They learn a new skill, struggle at first, and decide this is not for me. But success does not work this way. It is like planting a seed. You do not see the tree grow immediately. You must water it every day. You must take care of it. And for a long time, it may seem like nothing is happening, but beneath the soil, the roots are growing. And then one day, the tree suddenly bursts out of the ground. A great example of this is the story of the bamboo tree. When you plant a bamboo seed, nothing happens for the first few years, no visible growth. But beneath the soil, the roots are spreading. And then in the 5th year, the bamboo suddenly grows 90 feet in just 6 weeks. Now, did the bamboo grow in 6 weeks or did it take 5 years? The truth is, it was growing all along, but you could not see it. This is how life works. The small daily efforts may not show immediate results, but they are building something powerful beneath the surface. And one day, all those small actions will lead to a massive breakthrough. Let's take another example, learning a new language. If you study for 10 hours in one day and then stop for a month, will you learn? No. But if you practice just 15 minutes every single day, over time, you will become fluent. It is not about doing a lot in one day. It is about doing a little every day. This applies to relationships as well. You cannot build a strong relationship by doing one grand romantic gesture once a year. A healthy relationship is built on small daily acts of love, kindness, and understanding. A simple good morning message, a kind word, a moment of listening. These small things add up to something beautiful over time. Even in business, the most successful companies did not grow overnight. They grew because their leaders showed up every day, improved little by little, learned from failures, and kept going. Take the example of Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world. His wealth did not come from one lucky investment. It came from years of consistently making smart financial decisions, compounding his earnings over decades. Or look at Sachin Tendulkar. He did not become a cricket legend by practicing for 24 hours straight once in a while. He became great because he practiced every single day, refining his technique, working on his weaknesses, and perfecting his craft. The problem is, most people are impatient. They want quick results. They look at someone successful and think, wow, they are so lucky, but they do not see the years of effort behind that success. Success is not magic. It is not luck. It is simply the result of small, repeated actions over time. So the next time you feel like giving up because you do not see immediate results, remember the bamboo tree. Remember the sculptor. Remember the dripping water. Keep going. Keep doing the small things every day, because one day all those tiny efforts will come together and you will see something extraordinary. Your greatest achievements will not come from what you do once in a while. They will come from what you do every single day. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants to be fit, wealthy, and skilled. But the truth is, most people only work when they feel motivated. They exercise when they feel energetic. They study when they are in the mood. They work hard when they are inspired. But what happens when motivation fades? They stop, they slow down, they give up. And this is where most people fail. Because success does not come from working hard sometimes. It comes from working hard all the time, even when you don't feel like it. Think about waking up early in the morning. The alarm rings and your body wants to sleep for 5 more minutes. But if you listen to your body's comfort every day, you will never build the habit of waking up early. However, if you push yourself out of bed every single day, no matter how tired you feel, eventually it becomes effortless. This is discipline. Motivation is like a spark. It burns bright but fades quickly. But discipline is like a fire that keeps burning because you keep adding fuel to it. Let's take an example from sports. Imagine a professional athlete. Do you think they feel excited to train every day? Or do you think they wake up every morning feeling motivated? No, some days they feel exhausted. Some days they feel unmotivated, but they train anyway. They practice anyway. Why? Because they know that if they only trained when they felt like it, they would never become champions. Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the greatest footballers of all time, once said, talent without working hard is nothing. He trains for hours every single day, even though he is already at the top of his game. Why? Because he understands that consistency and discipline are what separate good players from legends. Now, let's take an everyday example, going to the gym. Most people start with enthusiasm. They go for a few days, feel motivated, and push themselves. But then after a week, they skip one day, then another. And soon they stop altogether. Why? Because they relied on motivation. But look at those who have transformed their bodies. They're the ones who go to the gym every single day, even when they feel tired, even when they are busy, even when they don't feel like it. They have built discipline. Let's take another example of reading books. Many people say they want to read more, but they wait until they feel like reading. And so they never develop the habit. But the most knowledgeable people in the world, leaders, thinkers, innovators, read every single day. Even if it is just 10 pages, even if they don't feel like it. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. But if you only rely on motivation, your discipline remains weak. Let's go deeper. Imagine you are working on a personal project, a business, a book, a skill. At first, you are excited. Ideas flow. Energy is high. But then challenges come. Progress slows down. Doubt creeps in. And suddenly the excitement is gone. This is the moment where most people quit. But if you have discipline, you push through. You keep working even when the results are slow. You keep going even when no one is watching. And in the end, you succeed not because you were always motivated, but because you refuse to stop. Look at the most successful businesses. Amazon, Apple, Tesla, these companies were not built overnight. They were built by people who showed up every single day, faced obstacles, and kept going. Now think about relationships. A strong relationship is not built on occasional grand gestures. It is built on small, consistent actions, listening, understanding, supporting every single day. If you only put effort into a relationship when you feel like it, it will never last. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. If you want to be successful, you cannot rely on moods, feelings, or miles. You must train yourself to do what needs to be done, no matter how you feel. Think of a farmer. He does not wait to feel inspired before planting seeds. He does not say, I'll water my crops when I feel like it. He does it every single day because he knows that discipline brings results. Here's another example: saving money. If you only save when you feel like it, you will never build wealth. But if you save a little every single month, even when it is difficult, over time, you will create financial security. Look at musicians. Do you think a pianist becomes great by practicing only when they are inspired? No, they practice for hours every single day, even on days when they don't feel like playing. The truth is, discipline is what separates winners from dreamers. Most people dream of success, but they do not want to sacrifice comfort. They do not want to wake up early, to work hard, to push through difficulties. They want results without effort. And so they remain stuck in the same place. But those who understand the power of discipline, they rise above. They wake up early even when they are tired. They train even when they don't feel like it. They work even when they are uninspired. And over time, these small daily actions lead to massive success. So the next time you feel like skipping something important, the next time you tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, remember this: success belongs to those who show up every single day, not just when it is easy, not just when they are motivated, but every single day. Because that is the power of discipline. Small improvements every day lead to massive success over time. People often believe that success is about making huge, dramatic changes. They think they need to completely transform their lives overnight to achieve their goals. But the reality is much simpler and far more powerful. Success is not built in a day. It is built daily through small, consistent improvements. Imagine a plane taking off from an airport. If the pilot changes the direction of the plane by just 1 degree, the difference at the start is barely noticeable. But over the course of a long journey, that tiny shift will take the plane to a completely different destination. This is how life works. If you improve yourself by just 1% every day over time, the results will be extraordinary. But if you ignore the small changes, thinking they do not matter, you will remain stuck in the same place. Let's take a simple example: brushing your teeth. If you skip brushing your teeth for 1 day, nothing bad happens. If you skip for a week, maybe still nothing noticeable. But if you neglect it for a year, your teeth will start decaying. Now, apply this principle to other areas of life. If you improve your knowledge by reading just one page of a book every day, in a year, you will have read over 365 pages, an entire book. If you save just $5 every day, in a year, you will have over $1,800. These small actions, when done consistently, lead to incredible results. Think about an athlete training for the Olympics. They do not suddenly become champions by practicing once in a while. They improve their speed by milliseconds, their strength by small percentages, their technique by tiny adjustments. These little improvements done every single day make them the best in the world. Now, let's take an everyday example, health and fitness. Imagine two people. One decides to start exercising but does extreme workouts for 1 week and then stops. The other person starts by simply walking 10 minutes a day but does it every day. Who do you think will be healthier in 6 months? The one who made small, consistent improvements. Because fitness is not about a single intense workout, it is about daily movement. This applies to every skill. If you want to learn a new language, you do not need to study for 5 hours in one day. You just need to practice a little every day. Over time, those small efforts will make you fluent. The problem is people underestimate the power of small changes. If something does not bring instant results, they quit. They start eating healthy but see no change in 1 week, so they stop. They start saving money but do not see big growth immediately, so they spend it. They start practicing a skill but do not master it quickly, so they give up. But the people who succeed, they understand that small efforts, repeated consistently, lead to massive growth over time. Let's take another example, planting a seed. When you plant a seed, you do not see the tree immediately. You water it, give it sunlight, and take care of it every day. For a long time, it looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the soil, the roots are growing. And one day, the tree begins to sprout. This is how progress works in life. You may not see immediate results, but every small improvement is building something powerful beneath the surface. Take the story of Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world. He did not become wealthy from one big investment. His fortune grew because of small, smart financial decisions over decades. His wealth compounded over time, just like small efforts compound into success. Or think of Sachin Tendulkar, one of the greatest cricketers. He did not wake up one day and suddenly become a legend. He practiced every day, refining his shots, improving his fitness, and making small adjustments to his game. Over time, these small improvements made him a master. Now, let's bring this to real life. Imagine two students. One studies for 5 hours before an exam, cramming all the information in one night. The other studies for 30 minutes every day leading up to the exam. Who do you think will perform better? Of course, the one who studied a little every day. Because the brain retains information better when it's learned gradually rather than all at once. This is why small daily improvements are so powerful. Now think about your own life. What if you made a small improvement to your morning routine? What if you spent just 10 extra minutes learning? What if you replaced just one unhealthy meal with a nutritious one every day? What if you spent a few extra minutes showing appreciation to the people around you? These changes may seem small, but over time, they will transform your life. The secret to success is not in huge dramatic efforts. It is in the tiny daily actions that compound over time. So the next time you feel like quitting because progress is slow, remember this: small improvements every single day will lead to massive success in the long run. And if you stay consistent, one day you will look back and realize you have become unstoppable. Imagine a sculptor working on a block of marble. At first, the marble is rough, shapeless, and ordinary, but the sculptor does not try to create the masterpiece in one single stroke. Instead, he chisels away bit by bit, every day without fail. Some days the progress is visible, other days it feels like nothing is changing. But he does not stop. He keeps working, refining, shaping, and then one day what was once just a formless rock transforms into a breathtaking masterpiece. This is exactly how success, skill, and personal growth work. Is not about one big dramatic push. It is about showing up every single day, even when you don't see immediate results. One of the biggest reasons people fail in life is because they expect instant gratification. They want results now. They go to the gym for a week and expect visible abs. They start a business and expect profits in the first month. They practice a new skill and get frustrated when they don't master it immediately. When they don't see quick progress, they assume this isn't working and they quit. But here's the truth. Real progress happens beneath the surface before you ever see it. Take the example of a bamboo tree. When you plant a bamboo seed, nothing happens for 5 years. You water it, give it sunlight, take care of it, and for 5 years, it looks like nothing is growing. But beneath the soil, something incredible is happening. The roots are growing deep, building a strong foundation. Then, suddenly in the 5th year, the bamboo shoots up to 90 feet in just 6 weeks. Did the bamboo tree grow in just 6 weeks? No, it was growing the entire time beneath the surface. This is how success works. The efforts you put in today may not show results immediately, but that does not mean they are wasted. Every action you take is strengthening your foundation, and when the time is right, your growth will explode. Look at the most successful people in the world. They did not achieve greatness overnight. They spent years, sometimes decades, working in silence before the world noticed them. Take the example of Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. He failed over 10,000 times before he finally succeeded. If he had given up after 100 failures, or even 1,000, we might still be living in darkness. But he understood that progress is happening, even when you don't see it. Now, let's bring this idea into daily life. Imagine you are trying to get fit. You start exercising, eating healthy, and staying consistent. But after 2 weeks, you step on the scale, and the scale hasn't changed much. Most people would feel discouraged and quit, thinking all this effort is useless. But if you stay committed, even when you don't see immediate changes, suddenly in a few months, you start to see real transformation. Why? Because results always lag behind effort. Let's take another example, learning a skill. Imagine a person learning to play the piano. In the beginning, it feels awkward. Their fingers don't move smoothly, and every note sounds off. They practice for weeks, but they don't feel much improvement. Frustrated, they might say, I'm just not talented. But if they push through, if they keep practicing every day, even when they don't feel like they're improving, suddenly, after a few months, their hands move effortlessly, their playing becomes fluid, and music flows naturally. This is how skill development works. Improvement happens in small, invisible increments. Then one day it all clicks. Think of a person digging for gold. They dig and dig, but they don't find anything. They keep going, but still nothing. They feel exhausted. They feel hopeless. And just as they're about to quit, they strike one more time and they hit gold. What if they had given up one strike before? Most people fail in life, not because they lack talent, intelligence, or resources, but because they quit too soon. They give up just before their breakthrough. Every great success story has one thing in common. The person refused to quit, even when they couldn't see results. Look at a marathon runner. In the first few miles, they feel good. But as the race goes on, their legs start to burn, their lungs feel heavy, and exhaustion sets in. This is the moment when the mind says, stop, this is too hard. But the champions, they keep going, step by step, even when it hurts. And eventually they cross the finish line, not because it was easy, but because they refused to stop. Now think about your own life. Maybe you are working on something, a business, a fitness goal, a personal dream. Maybe you are putting in effort, but you don't see immediate results. Maybe you feel like quitting. Don't. Remember, just because you don't see progress does not mean progress isn't happening. Every single day that you stay committed, every effort you put in, every small action you take, it is all adding up. Your roots are growing, your foundation is strengthening, and one day when you least expect it, your success will explode. Most people quit when results are invisible, but those who push through, who keep going even when it seems like nothing is happening, are the ones who eventually achieve the impossible. So whatever you are working towards, keep going, because success does not happen instantly. It happens silently beneath the surface. And one day when the time is right, all your hard work will blossom into something extraordinary. Imagine a man pushing a giant rock up a hill. Every day he wakes up, walks to the rock, and pushes with all his strength. Some days the rock moves slightly, other days it barely budges. The effort feels endless and the progress seems invisible. He starts to wonder, why am I even doing this? Is it even worth it? But what he does not realize is that with each push, he is building strength. His muscles are growing stronger, his endurance is increasing, and his ability to push is improving. And then one day, something extraordinary happens. With one final push, the rock tips over the peak of the hill and begins rolling down effortlessly. This is the power of momentum. In life, the hardest part of any journey is the beginning. Starting something new, whether it is a habit, a skill, a business, or a dream, feels difficult, slow, and sometimes frustrating. The effort feels immense, and the results are almost invisible. But if you keep pushing, if you keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it, momentum begins to build. Think about how a bicycle works. When you first start pedaling, it is hard. The bike moves slowly and it takes effort to gain speed. But once you build enough momentum, the bike glides forward almost effortlessly. Now imagine if you stop pedaling because it felt hard in the beginning. The bike would never move. This is exactly how success works. You have to keep pedaling before the ride becomes easier. Let's take an example from fitness. Many people decide to get in shape, and at first it feels painful. The first few workouts are exhausting. The body aches, the muscles feel sore, and the results are not immediately visible. Most people give up at this stage because they think, this is too hard. But those who keep going reach a magical moment. Momentum kicks in, the workouts start feeling easier, the body adapts, the energy levels rise, and suddenly they actually start enjoying the process. What once felt like a burden now feels like a natural part of life. This is why consistency is more important than intensity. It does not matter if you work out for 3 hours in one day. What matters is if you show up every day, even for just 30 minutes. Because momentum builds when you stay consistent. Take another example, writing a book. If an aspiring writer sits down and tries to write an entire book in one day, it will feel overwhelming. The mind will resist and creativity will dry up. But if they commit to writing just 1 page a day, something amazing happens. At first it feels slow and the words might not flow easily, but as they keep writing, their mind becomes more creative. Their thoughts become clearer, and writing becomes a natural part of their routine. 1 page a day turns into a full book within a year. The same principle applies to learning any skill. If you try to master a new language in a single weekend, you will feel frustrated and exhausted. But if you practice just 10 minutes a day, your brain starts absorbing the language naturally. After a few months, you will realize that speaking and understanding have become effortless. Momentum is the secret behind every great achievement. Look at the most successful people in the world: athletes, entrepreneurs, musicians, and artists. They did not become great overnight. They started like everyone else, struggling in the beginning, facing difficulties and questioning themselves, but they kept going. And eventually momentum carried them forward. Take the example of Elon Musk. When he started SpaceX, the first few rocket launches failed. Millions of dollars were lost and people doubted him. But he did not stop. He kept pushing forward, learning, improving, and staying consistent. And then momentum kicked in. SpaceX successfully launched rockets, secured contracts, and became one of the most successful aerospace companies in history. The same is true for Michael Jordan. In high school, he was rejected from his basketball team. He was not considered good enough. Most people would have given up at that point, but he kept practicing, kept improving, and kept building momentum. That relentless effort is what turned him into one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Now think about your own life. Maybe you are working on something, a business, a skill, a fitness goal, or a personal dream. Maybe it feels slow. Maybe you are not seeing results yet. But remember this: if you stay consistent, momentum will take over. If you go to the gym, even on days when you do not feel like it, your body will adapt. and it will become easier. If you keep practicing a skill, even when progress seems slow, your mind will improve, and one day it will feel effortless. If you keep working on your dreams, even when no one believes in you, momentum will eventually carry you forward, and you will achieve what once seemed impossible. The hardest part of any journey is the beginning. But once you break past that, once momentum kicks in, things start moving faster, easier, and with less resistance. Most people quit before momentum starts working in their favor. But those who push through the resistance, those who keep going even when it feels difficult, they are the ones who succeed. So whatever you are trying to achieve, keep pushing, keep pedaling, keep showing up, because once momentum takes over, success will no longer feel like an uphill battle. It will feel like you are gliding toward greatness. Imagine a blacksmith hammering away at a piece of iron. With each strike, the iron heats, bends, and begins to take shape. In the beginning, it seems rigid, unyielding, and resistant to change. But the blacksmith does not stop. He keeps hammering again and again, applying pressure, and then suddenly, the iron gives in. It starts molding into the desired shape. This is how discipline works in life. Most people believe that motivation is the key to success. They wait for motivation to strike, thinking that once they feel inspired, they will finally take action. But this is a dangerous trap because motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the wind, and if you depend on it, you will never be consistent in your actions. The real key to success is discipline. It is the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Think about an athlete training for a marathon. In the beginning, they are excited. They wake up early, go for runs, and push themselves. But after a few weeks, the excitement fades. Waking up early becomes harder, the runs feel longer, and they start thinking, maybe I should take a break today. This is the moment where most people fail, when their motivation runs out. But the real champions, they do not rely on motivation. They have built discipline. They run on days when they feel tired, on days when the weather's bad, on days when their mind tells them to quit, because they know that success is not about how you feel in the moment. It is about what you do consistently over time. Discipline is the difference between wishing and achieving. Take the example of someone who wants to lose weight. They start a diet full of enthusiasm. The first few days are easy, but then the cravings kick in. Their mind says just one cheat meal won't hurt. They skip one workout, then another. Before they know it, they are back to their old habits. But someone with discipline, they understand that results come from sticking to the process, even when it's uncomfortable. They stay committed to their meals, their workouts, and their plan, not because they always feel like it, but because they know that discipline leads to transformation. Now, let's apply this to learning a new skill. Imagine you decide to learn to play the guitar. On the first day, you are excited. You practice for hours feeling like a rock star. But after a week, your fingers start hurting and progress feels slow. Your mind tells you, maybe I'm just not good at this. And so you stop practicing. But someone with discipline, they pick up the guitar every single day, even if just for 10 minutes. They practice through the discomfort, through the frustration, through the boredom, and after weeks and months, something incredible happens. They become skilled, not because they were more talented, but because they were more disciplined. Discipline is what separates those who start from those who succeed. Look at the most successful people in the world, entrepreneurs, athletes, musicians, and artists. They did not reach the top because they always felt motivated. They got there because they kept going even when they didn't feel like it. Take the example of J.K. Rowling. She wrote Harry Potter while struggling financially, facing rejections from multiple publishers. There were probably days when she felt like giving up, but she kept writing, kept showing up, and because of that discipline, the world was given one of the greatest book series of all time. Or look at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He did not become a Hollywood superstar by waiting for motivation. He built a routine, a discipline of waking up early, training hard and working relentlessly toward his goals. That discipline turned him from a struggling football player into one of the most successful actors and entrepreneurs in the world. Now think about your own life. How many times have you started something with excitement, only to quit when the excitement faded? How many times have you set a goal but gave up when motivation disappeared? The secret to success is not feeling motivated. It is training yourself to take action no matter what. Think of a soldier. A soldier does not wait to feel ready before going to battle. They train every day, preparing themselves so that when the time comes, they can perform without hesitation. Life is the same way. If you train yourself to act regardless of how you feel, you will become unstoppable. So how do you build discipline? 1, commit to small actions every day. Instead of trying to make massive changes overnight, start with small daily habits. If you want to get fit, commit to just 10 minutes of exercise daily. If you want to write a book, commit to writing 200 words a day. These small actions train your mind to stay disciplined. 2, remove the need for motivation. Stop waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect day, or the perfect inspiration. Take action whether you feel like it or not. 3, hold yourself accountable. Set clear goals and track your progress. Surround yourself with people who push you to stay disciplined. 4, embrace discomfort. Growth comes from pushing past what is comfortable. Learn to enjoy the process of doing things even when they feel hard. 5, never negotiate with yourself. The moment you start making excuses, I'll do it later, I don't feel like it today,